Hey there, it's Toya with your Wednesday word. And today's word, we're talking about dealing with feelings of inadequacy. Now, at some point in each and every one of our lives, we've either dealt with or will deal with feelings of inadequacy. And yet we don't all deal with feelings of inadequacy in the same way. And the fact of the matter is that we aren't truly affected, or our lives aren't truly affected by these feelings or thoughts of inadequacy in and of themselves. Our lives are affected by how we deal with these feelings of inadequacy. So, how do you deal with them? Recently, I was asked to speak to a group of women, and they were all in this particular group for similar reasons. And for a moment, even though I was elated to have the opportunity to speak with them, for a moment, I had feelings of inadequacy because I questioned whether I would be able to connect with them or whether they would be able to relate with me, because I had not experienced some of the same things that they had experienced. Now, let me stop right here to make emphasis that feelings and thoughts of inadequacy tell you that you're not enough, you aren't capable, and you won't be able to ... whatever. And usually they're connected to something in the future. Now, I know a lot of times when you have these thoughts or you have these feelings, you probably think that they are connected to the present because you're having the thoughts and you're having the feelings now. But in actuality, they are not connected to your present. They're connected to future things. Usually you don't just think I'm not enough, period. You usually think things like, I'm not enough to get this job, or I don't have enough of whatever to accomplish what it is that I want. I'm not capable of getting into that academic program, or I won't be able to purchase this particular thing because I don't have what I need. And the reason I don't have what I need to purchase it, the money, is because I'm not enough, and so I can't get the job. I can't get the job. I'm not able to get the job that I want. It's usually about or connected to something in your future and not just something about who you are overall, just period, right now in the present moment. It's usually connected to something you want, and these feelings of inadequacy come. And so for me, it was this event that I was going to be speaking at, and I was having feelings of inadequacy that were telling me possibly that I would not be able to connect with these people and that they would not necessarily be able to relate with me. And so I was feeling like maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is not the right fit. I want to do it, but perhaps I might not have success, and perhaps I may not be able to give them what it is that they need, and maybe I won't be able to give them what it is that they're expecting from a speaker when a speaker comes to talk to them. Now, remember, I said that our lives are not truly affected by the thoughts or the feelings in and of themselves. Our lives are affected by how we deal with those thoughts and feelings, how we respond to them, and how we function after we have them. So again, I ask you, how do you deal with feelings of inadequacy or thoughts of inadequacy? Now, I'll tell you how I dealt with mine in regards to this situation. Did I back out? Did I get scared and back out and say, you know what, I can't do this? No, I didn't do that. First of all, the first thing I did was I did not deny the fact that I was having these thoughts or these feelings. In fact, what I did was I searched them out. That's number one. When you have feelings of inadequacy or you have thoughts of being inadequate, the first thing that you can do to deal with them is to search them out. Because sometimes you have these feelings because Perhaps you need to prepare. Perhaps you're not quite ready. You know, there is some truth in the fact that sometimes we are not ready for what it is that we're walking into. So the first step is to not run from this, but to actually search out these thoughts, to acknowledge that they're there and search them out and find out if there's something in there that needs to be done. Maybe you need to prepare a little better for whatever it is that you are trying to do. So the first thing I did, I searched them out because I wanted to feel out whether they were something that was warning me, you know, and was telling me I needed to do something, or whether it was just something that was, you know, that it was connected to fear and I just needed to get rid of it. What it made me do, though, was to check with my spirit and to pray and ask God what these thoughts and these feelings were about. Were they something that I needed to do something about? You know, it wasn't that I felt like I needed to back out, but did I need to prepare a little more? Did I need to think about some other things? Did I need to look up some stuff? What did I need to do? Was I actually not prepared, or was I inadequate, or did I need to just take care of some stuff, or was I totally fine and this was just fear? So in my case, I felt like it was just connected to fear. It was not that I was inadequate or I didn't have, or that I wouldn't be able to relate, or they would not be able to relate to me. It was just I hadn't been in this setting before with this group of people, and in this particular, with these particular situations and things that they had dealt with in their lives. And so there were these thoughts that passed through that said, it's possible you're not going to be able to do this, right? It's possible you're not going to be able to connect or relate to them. But I connected that to fear. And so I basically said, you know what? I'm going to dismiss this thought. I decided not to allow it to overtake me because I felt as though I was requested and asked to come, because the person that invited me to come and speak to the ladies obviously felt that I had something to offer to these women, even though I had not experienced some of their same situations and circumstances. So I took a good look at that and decided, okay, the first step is I've searched it out. Okay, no, now I'm going to dismiss this thought. And that's something that you may have to do. You may have to decide, I need to dismiss this thought. And the way I did that was I replaced it with other thoughts. I decided that, sure, I may not have some of the same situations, gone through some of the same stuff as they had, but I could relate to them, or they could relate to me. We could connect in other ways. Even though I had not experienced exactly what they had experienced, we all have experienced some of the same things. And so what I did was I decided to find the things that I did connect with them with. Sometimes the things that we are thinking we don't measure up with people, or when we can't connect with people, sometimes with the things we think are surface things, and we need to go a little bit deeper. You know, the surface thing you may not have dealt with, but some of the deeper stuff you've dealt with, pain, you've dealt with hurt, you've dealt with symptoms. Yeah, there are lots of things that we have dealt with that we can connect with people on, that are not at a surface level, even though we, may not have gone through their exact same thing. So after deciding that I was not going to think on these inadequate thoughts and have these feelings, experience these feelings of inadequacy, I decided that what I was going to do was replace them with thoughts that were reassuring. So I began to think about who I was in God and think about the fact that God was always with me. I began to think about the fact that the Holy Spirit is able to use me in any situation. I began to think about the fact that I know how to hear God's voice, and that in every situation I can hear his voice and I can say what it is that he's saying to me. I began to reassure myself that it wasn't me that had to stand before these people and figure out how to relate to them, right? I didn't have to do that. I reassured myself with the fact that God was in me and that the Holy Spirit knew exactly how to speak to each one of these ladies individually. He knew exactly what each one of them needed, and he knew how to use me to speak to them, to touch their hearts, that it was not my responsibility to per se be on fleek in front of them. I know that word's kind of old, but it wasn't up to me to perform per se and be somebody for them to connect to. It was simply up to me to be the vessel that God wanted to use and allow him to speak through me. And I was definitely reassured by this, because when I realized that it's not me, that it's God working through me, there's a confidence that comes with that. And so being that whole questioning, that whole doubt, that whole thing of you're not enough, you're not capable, you're not able to, is truly replaced and dismissed with I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The confidence is definitely and certainly built up when I reassure myself that God is with me and that I don't have to perform. He's going to use me the way he wants to use me. Okay, now here's another thing that you can do to deal with your thoughts and feelings of inadequacy. Now, I don't always encourage people to pay attention to what other people say to them, but there are times when it is valuable. What people are saying to you is valuable. You don't always want to close the door on how people give into your life, because a lot of times they can give you things that are valuable. And a lot of times people are telling you, or they are showing you that you have value. They are showing you that you are enough. They are telling you that you are capable by asking you to come and talk to them, right? Or by inviting you to go to different places and do different things that you are skilled at. They're showing you, by the way that they invite you in to take care of particular things. They're showing you, they're talking to you. They're saying you're enough, you're capable, and you're able to do this. And so what we have to do at times is pay attention to what it is that these people are saying to us in their actions and the way that they are dealing with us. Now, again, I'm not saying pay attention to everything and feast and feed off of, but if you are trying to build your confidence, or at least if you are trying to get rid of feeling inadequate, you can at least glean from what it is that people are saying or showing you that is positive about who you are and what they appreciate that is coming from you, what they consider to be valuable that is coming from you. You can say, hey, you know what? They invited me, so they must believe that there is something in me. And then acknowledge, yes, there is something. I do have things to offer to this world. I do have great value to give to my community, right? You can listen, or you can just pay attention. Is everybody coming to you for advice? Are people on the job coming to you to get help, be assisted? They're telling you that you have something to offer. And so sometimes you have to utilize, because God can be talking to you. You could be asking God, help me, give me courage, give me boldness, give me strength, help me to believe in myself. God, help me to believe in myself. And he could be sending people to you all of the time that are trying to tell you and show you, right? He's using them to tell you and show you that you're able, you're capable, and that you are enough. But because you don't have an open ear or your eyes aren't open, or your heart is not truly open to hearing God say that you are enough, you miss the clues that he's sending to you, right? It's like the story of the person who is on the island and he's praying, God, help me get off this island. God, help me get off this island. And somebody comes with a boat and he's like, hey, come on. And he's like, no, God is going to help me get off this island. And so he stays on the boat. God, help me get off this island. God, help me get off this island. And the person with a helicopter comes, it's like, all right, you're safe. Come on, get off this island. No, God's going to help me get off this island. God, help me get off this island. God, you get the message. A lot of times we are not open to God actually giving us what it is that he's trying to give us through other people. And because of that, we miss what God is saying. And if you can hear through somebody else or see through someone else how God feels about you and what he thinks about you, that can help you to deal with your feelings and thoughts of inadequacy. Okay, here's the last thing I'm going to share with you about this. One of the things that you have to definitely remember to do, and that is keep going. Like, you can't give up. You can't back down. You can't back out. You can't give up. You have to keep going. If you're having feelings or thoughts of inadequacy, you cannot let them stop you. You have to continue. You have to press through. See, I pressed through, and at the end of my talk, all of the ladies were just loving what it was that God has shared through me. And they all complimented and said how, God really used me to speak to them. And they had clarity. They saw things so much clearer than they had seen them before. God explained some things to them. Some said I spoke directly into their situations. This is the thing. You cannot stop just because you have thoughts or feelings of inadequacy. You cannot stop just because you are thinking perhaps you can't do something, or there's reasons why you're not going to be able to do something, or you're not enough. You don't have what it takes. You cannot stop. If you think you don't have what it takes, then get what it takes. But you can't stop. You have to keep going, because you'll never see what it is that God can do if you keep putting a halt to what it is that he's trying to do through you. You just have to go ahead and do it. What if I fail? Well, if you fail, then you'll see what you need to do next time. That's right. If you fail, you'll see what you have to do next time. There are a plethora of things to learn in failures. Failures are not bad things. There are things that they teach you what not to do next time. Or they teach you what to do next time. But you should not give up. You should not back down or back out. You have to keep going, and you have to push through these thoughts. That's how you have to deal with it. I gave you several things in here. Go back and listen to it again if you need to, but just know you cannot give up. Your thoughts or feelings of inadequacy may be there for a moment, but they don't have to rule you. You can rule them. You can have dominion over them. You can have control over them. They don't have to have control over you. You can tell them, okay, so you were here for a moment, and let me tell you how I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to search you out to see if there's anything of value within you. And then if not, I'm going to kick you out. And then I'm going to replace you with some reassuring thoughts, and some reassuring thoughts that come from the word of God and who God is with me. And then once I do that, I am going to just plow through and keep going. I'm going to make my move and keep doing what it is that I need to do, because I recognize that you are just a thought. I recognize that you are just a feeling. I recognize that without me responding to you in a certain way, you have no real power. So I've decided that I will exercise my power and put you in your place and let you have the place that you need. And that was for a moment, but that is all. All right. You guys have a great week and be blessed. And I'll see you next time.